With me for the devotion for Tuesday, February the 8th. I want to ask you today to be praying for Rose Mace. We are looking at Isaiah 48. Of course, every one of you knows Isaiah is a prophet, and at times it can be a little difficult to always discern. Is he talking about just a little ways off? Is he talking about a couple hundred years off? Is he talking about way to the end of time? And sometimes as you read, trying to figure all these things out. The book of Isaiah was written in the 700 BCs, okay? The exile of Judah into Babylon happened about 200 years after the book of Isaiah was written, but yet the book of Isaiah talks about that a lot, about what is going to happen, the judgment that God is going to bring upon them, but yet how God is going to rescue them, and then ultimately how God is going to completely rescue them, and that someday the New Jerusalem will be set up, and they will be there as his people, ruling and reigning. There is one strong message that you get from this chapter, and you get from the book of Isaiah. That is the sovereignty of God. As he is telling them, verse 3, I have declared the former things from the beginning. I declared them long before they ever happened, because I am the all-knowing, I am the sovereign God. Verse 5, even from the beginning I have declared it to you before it came to pass. I proclaimed it to you, lest you should say, my idols has done them, and my graven image, my carved image, and my molded image have commanded them. The Lord, he says a lot in here, but one of the things is that he will cause the people of Babylon to come there to Jerusalem, take them into captivity. And I'm letting you know this ahead of time so that you will know that I am the one who has orchestrated it, and that I am the sovereign God, and that you may recognize I am the Lord, the Creator, that you would want to look to me. I'm going to go all the way over to verse 20. I want to mention to you, though, just verse 16. I'm not going to go into that, but if you want an Old Testament passage that talks about the Trinity, look at verse 16 of chapter 48. Anyway, I don't use commentaries a lot, but with this passage, I actually did, as I was trying to figure out some things, exactly what was being said. And I've got to be honest, if I would have just kept reading through this by myself, I'm not sure I would have come up with the meaning that most commentaries seem to give to verse 20. But some of them that I have high respect for have come up with this and say this is the message here. Verse 20, go forth from Babylon, flee from the Chaldeans with a voice of singing. Declare, proclaim this, utter it to the end of the earth. Say, the Lord has redeemed his servant Jacob. So he's looking up, again, written 700s BC. 200 years later, they're taken into captivity, and the time is going to come. He's talked about Cyrus, the one he's going to use to set his people free. He talks about them. So they're now looking ahead, and there is this command given. It's time for you to leave Babylon. It is time for you to go back to Jerusalem. It is time for you to do the work there that God has called you to do. And again, most commentators are saying there is a picture here that the Jewish people have gotten comfortable in their bondage. They have gone up there. They have built houses. They have intermingled with the people. And life, even though they have been in bondage, really has not been so bad. So when the time comes for them to be set free and return to their homeland, it's kind of like we think we'll just stay here and hang out. And so the picture can be given even in the church. We've got a mission. They had a mission to fulfill that God had given them. They would go to exile, but they were to return back to their homeland. They were to rebuild. They would do all these things. Well, God has not called us as the church to be comfortable. He has called us to go forth as a mission. He's called us to be light in the darkness. He has called us to rescue people. He has called us to set the captive free. But indeed, just like captives in Babylon, we can get comfortable in the church. We can get to a place that while we know we have a mission we should be fulfilling, what we're doing here really isn't so bad. It's not, we're not miserable here or anything like that. And we just sort of settle down in this place that causes us not to do what God calls us to do. So I think today, whether this is fully what is being said here or not, every one of us need to examine our hearts. Are we willing? Are we doing what God has called us to do? I know myself, I fight this thing of wanting creature comforts and wanting to say, wow, I'm just enjoying being here. But many times, maybe most times, serving the Lord is not always comfortable. There's a cost. There is a price. Jesus said, count the cost to follow me. So today, let's examine our hearts and say, God, what is it that you've asked me to do that I'm not willing to do because of giving up my comforts? And let's yield to the Lord and say, Lord, here I am. It's more important for me to fulfill your will than to walk in my comfort. Hope you have a wonderful day. God bless you.